You want to know how good God is? I'm going to tell you. Yesterday I went to a pastor's conference and I left the house too early, so I had a lot of extra time. So I pulled into a parking lot, Starbucks, and I went in and I got a drink, sat down at a table and started writing. Okay, and I wrote 4 different poems, which, just some of them are good, some aren't. Who cares? But one of them I entitled Warm Start. And it actually ended up being exactly what the preacher preached on that evening. I didn't realize it at the time. I went back and reviewed my poem, and I realized, hey, this is exactly what the man was talking about. And he talked about Revelation chapter 2, 1 through 7, the letter to the church of Ephesus. Jesus is aware of their work. He's aware of how they had tried the false apostles and found them to be false. He's aware of their labor, how they hadn't given up. They'd persevered for his name's sake, right? And they'd not grown weary. That's to say they hadn't given up. But he had something against them. One thing I have against you. What was it? They had left, or they had abandoned their first love. And that is exactly what one of the poems involved. I entitled it Warm Start. So, I'm not going to read it. Maybe I'll read it online. But the point is that in the midst of doing work, the point of my poem is, in the midst of living life, in the midst of living for God, or at the very least trying to live for God, you're going to get banged up. You're gonna experience damage. You're gonna have pain. But one thing you should never let that pain do is get into the innermost part and start chipping away at that heart that God gave you. God has given us everything we need to do all that he's called us to do. If you want to know where I got that from, just look at 2 Peter chapter 1. He is not a bad boss, requiring us to do things that he's not equipped us for, prepared us for. On the contrary, he's given us everything that we need. Okay? So how can one keep their heart in a heart-darkening age? Simple. Pray. Stay in communion with God. Worship. Worship God. He is worthy of it. Give him praise. Give him glory. And if that's hard for you to do, just go outside and look at the majesty of his creation. That's to say, get outside of yourself. Because none of this is about us anyway. This is all about pointing to God's glory. I entitled the poem Warm Start. Sometimes we need a fresh start. And not just a fresh start, but a warm one. Because sometimes we reach a cold end, don't we? For every cold end, Lord, let there be a warm start. That's the blessing I give to you who are still watching at 3 minutes and 42 seconds. God bless you. This has been both pastoral and poetic and prophetic. The 3 Ps. God bless you.